How did I get involved in moderating the Sonic panel? They asked me at the last minute, and had I gotten a little bit more advance notice, I would like to have been a little bit more prepared. But I did appreciate the Sonic cast telling me that I did a good job, and I know that I can always grow and learn to be a much better moderator and be better, more just be better prepared. And enough about me. It's corn time.
Alrighty then, folks. Let's kick this off. Please, down the line, introduce yourself and who do you play in the series?
Hi, Ryan Drummond, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Strassman, Rouge the Bat. Hello, Colleen O'Shaughnessy, Tails, and Charlie B.
David Humphrey, Shadow. Scott Drier, Knuckles the Echidna.
Some noise for these people.
That was a nice noise, thank you. I was worried.
Alright, folks, how's Denver been treating you guys so far?
Yeah, hello. Great.
What's the question?
How's Denver been treating you?
Oh, fantastic. Everyone's been so nice. It's been really great.
I love me some Denver, but I was born in Denver, so
Yeah, we'll go
back home.
That's why this place is so shadowy.
Love it. We love it. We love it. Everyone's so nice. Are you all really this nice? No? Yes. There's a yes.
They're all drunk. Just the kids. Okay.
Alright, let's kick things off. Based on the theme of this convention, nostalgia, what do you guys get nostalgic over?
What do we get nostalgic over?
I get nostalgic over my kids when they were little. That's what I get nostalgic. Because they got big so fast and now they're big. That's what I get.
Kind of coming here actually and seeing all of like these heroes from my own childhood, like Jim Cummings and E.G. Daly and all that. That just makes me go, wow, some time has passed.
For me, music really makes me nostalgic. Hearing, like you walk somewhere and you hear a piece of music or a song, particularly for me from the 80s. And I was hearing a song this morning from the 80s. It was making me miss my Walkman. I had a Walkman many years ago, and there was some nostalgia in that. I used to live in France, and my fiance lived in another town, and I would take the train to go see him. And I would sit and listen to Sean Colvin on my Walkman and look out the window of the train. And yeah.
I second music for sure. Music is one of the most powerful things. But I also think I get nostalgic because talking with all of you and getting catapulted back into your memories of the games, it also catapults us back into creating and going through that journey. So we play the games, which is also nostalgic for us, but each of the lines and each of the levels also holds a memory. So that's pretty nostalgic, and to get to talk about that with all of you has been epic. It's the greatest part of this job.
I think for me is the city of Denver, being back and seeing the old stomping grounds and seeing the Six Flags that used to be Elitch's, and where I rode my first roller coaster when I was a kid. Holy crap, and I get to go to the Avalanche game tonight. I'm so excited. This is amazing to be in Denver. Woohoo, Nostalgica!
That was all beautiful, y'all. Speaking about connecting the brains and unlocking memories, tell us about when you guys did the first audition for your characters.
First audition.
Oh, there we go. Oh, sorry about that, folks. Tell us about your audition process for Sonic.
I guess I'll start. The audition process, I've said this story many times, some of you have probably heard it, but I had no preparation. I walked into the audition, I got invited to the audition because I'd been working on a video game where I did the voice of a turtle, and the guy who was working on that video game knew the casting director and said, hey, this turtle guy might be a good hedgehog for you. So I got invited to the audition, and I had no idea what had been done before me as far as the Japanese voice actors. I didn't know there was a cartoon until many years later that Jaleel White had voiced. So I didn't know what Sonic was supposed to sound like. So when I went into the audition, they had a picture of Sonic on the wall, and the guy was just like, if you could imagine a voice coming out of that hedgehog, what would it sound like? Line one, ready, go. And I didn't have any time to think about it. I kind of thought I might get some direction, but I didn't. So I just kind of started talking, and that's the voice I've been doing for the last 27 years.
So we could call you Turtle Guy too. I like Turtle Guy. I don't remember my audition, you guys. We auditioned so much. And the ones that we book that's the icing on the cake. But we audition after audition after audition, and I don't remember the moment that I auditioned. I know that I booked the role, but I don't remember. But I'm super grateful because I love Rouge a lot.
So I don't remember my initial audition, but I remember my callback because Kate Higgins was there, and I didn't know that she played Tails. You know, she was the current voice of Tails when Sonic Boom was happening. And I've known Kate for a long time, and so I didn't really, of course I knew of Sonic the Hedgehog, but I didn't play the games. So I wasn't aware of Tails and his sort of role in the whole world, in the whole universe. So I was just I learned a lot. But yeah, so I hadn't heard what Kate has been doing. I just, you get an audition, you give what you think is right for the voice, just like, they did. And so I went to the callback, found out that Kate was Tails, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to audition for your part. And she was like, oh no. They had already had a discussion about, she knew she wasn't going to be Tails anymore, and she was there for sticks, I think. So anyway, that was, I had a lovely chat with Kate Higgins in the waiting room, and it was kind of nice because she sort of kind of passed the baton to me, which was very sweet.
That was a really good Kate Higgins invitation. It was really, you just channeled Kate.
Our story is it's different. So we are really both here because of Ryan Drummond. So in a nutshell,
I'm their dad.
Yes, he is our father. We just found out today. So when Ryan and I were in our 20s, people thought we were the same person. So much so that I had a Foot Locker commercial running, he had a Padres commercial running. I had family members call me and say, oh my gosh, we saw your commercial. And I was like, my Foot Locker commercial, oh cool. And they were like, no, your Padres commercial. And it would be my aunt that, I saw every day. And I'd be like, I'm not in a Padres commercial. When we met each other, we was like that moment across the room at an audition where we went, you're the guy!
You're Scott Drier.
Yes,
oh
you're Ryan Drummond.
For years I've been hearing, do you know Scott Drier? You look just like him, you sound just like him. So we finally met.
So how this all came about is Ryan was he did Sonic Shuffle. He was Sonic, Shadow, and Knuckles, but the producers wanted different actors, and initially they wanted a voice match. And so we all knew each other, David, Ryan, and I. We were friends before the games even began. And so they basically were asking for recommendations, and Ryan said, if you want someone who sounds like me and looks like me, you should call in Scott Drier. So initially, it was for the part of Shadow. We both came in. All day long, I was matching Ryan. All day long, the Japanese team was applauding. I was like, I'm going to be Shadow. This is epic. At the end of the day, they called me and they said, you're not getting Shadow. They didn't tell me it was David. If they told me it was David, I would have been over the moon. They said, we're not going to give you Shadow because you sounded too much like Ryan Drummond. And I was like, wait a minute, that was the assignment. No one told me to do anything different. But they called me the next day and they said, we have news for you, that when you walked in the room, the entire producing team said, that is Knuckles the Echidna. So sometimes the thing we think we want, we don't, because to me, I have such respect for everyone who's voiced all the characters, but there will never be a Sonic besides Ryan in my mind. There will never be a Shadow in my mind besides David, and Knuckles lives in my heart and my soul.
Give it up for those guys.
Like, yeah, I can follow it up. That's the whole thing. They brought us in to sound just like Ryan, and I flunked. So I got Shadow. It's fantastic.
But you know what? That's the deal, and that's what made us realize they wanted them to sound different. So that's why we created the voices and made them sound different. So it led to magic, electricity, lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, can you guys imagine Shadow sounding just like Sonic? That would have been weird. So I'm glad you failed, man. Well done.
You're welcome.
Those are all very beautiful stories about how you guys got these parts. And I'm kind of curious about, you guys mentioned the Japanese performances. How is it for you guys trying to match those performances?
We actually didn't. They didn't at any point say, try and match this voice that's already been done in Japan. So that never happened, which is pretty cool. They kind of let us or actually I can't speak for the rest of you, but for me, they kind of let me come up with what I thought the voice should be, and they said, yeah, we like that, keep doing that. And so I wasn't trying to match anyone, I was just trying to imagine what the voice would sound like coming out of a teenage, fast, rebellious blue hedgehog, and that's the voice that came out. So yeah, did anybody else have any sound like Japan?
No, I didn't have to match either. I probably would have flunked that as well. So I appreciate them letting me do my Shadow.
Yeah, I never worked on matching Rouge with the Japanese character, but we've gone through, depending on the game, you guys, and the specific client, they sometimes want Rouge's voice to be different. So sometimes they have me do a much lower voice, and they, like in this one, we want Rouge to be very sexy. And then in some, they have me pitch her up a little higher. And she's kind of a little sexy, but she's also kind of just really smart. So depending on the iteration of the game or the project, they have me lean with her voice in different directions, which is why you hear her different sometimes.
I never heard the Japanese version of Tails. I've never heard the Japanese version of Charming either. We were doing Sonic Boom. That's when I came in to do Tails, and it was all new. Like it was like a kind of a do-over. Well, Roger was still Sonic, and Cindy was Amy, and Mike was still Eggman. But I think everybody else was new. I don't know. I can't remember. I don't know if Travis was Knuckles yet. But anyway, it was a new chapter or whatever. So yeah, I never heard any of the Japanese.
I think the only time they ever really referenced the Japanese were the sound effects. Like I remember they had wanted us to do climbing sounds like good, and we would explain like we wouldn't climb like that. We would climb like we were climbing. We would go. But then they wanted that mixed with, I know my Knuckles digging sound. They wanted that. They wanted me to pay homage. But I feel so lucky that we were part of it back when the Japanese team would come. They would fly in. We never said a word without all 7 producers there, an interpreter. Our director was Lonnie Manila, who was the original Rouge. And so to be directed by an actor was great. But my favorite thing is that I think if I would have known back then, I wouldn't have. I sort of said what I thought. Like initially, they just wanted me as Knuckles to yell for an entire game, and I just said I don't think that's going to be fun to play, and it's not fun as an actor to play. And I just said he's protecting the Master Emerald. He should be cool. He should have chill. And so they said, what does that mean to you? And I said, let's use the lowest part of my voice. Part of that device was to separate Ryan and I, who naturally spoke to each other, but that led to the, hey guys, long time no see, must have got caught in the minds. And I'm grateful that I did the games at a time where they didn't say, shut up and say the lines, that they actually allowed me to infuse that, to give them heart and soul, and I'm proud of that, I'm grateful for that.
And that's actually really cool, because if you think now in the feature films, you have Idris Elba doing the voice of Knuckles, and the way he sounds is based on what Scott created. So that's kind of cool.
He's wonderful, by the way. So talented.
Yeah, actually, I was going to lead into what have you guys been thinking about your live action counterparts, and shout out to you, Colleen, for coming back for the movies.
I feel very, very lucky that I got to do the movies. Truly. Super, super lucky. That counterpart is amazing.
Oh, as soon as I saw the first movie and saw what Ben Schwartz had done with the voice of Sonic, I was like, is there anybody more perfect than that? Like, I think he's fantastic. I think he's got the attitude, he's obviously got the comedic timing. He's got all those things, and I think perfectly cast. Ben Schwartz is the ultimate movie Sonic. End of story.
Yeah, I thought Keanu Reeves did a great job. I heard a couple of different names thrown out there to play Shadow. I wasn't sure how it would go. And then I found out it was Keanu Reeves, and I'm like, no, that's absolutely perfect. I thought he did a brilliant job, and I just picture him sitting at home, listening to me, getting ready for the role. It's like, how did David do that again?
He really did do a lot of research.
Yeah,
He really did. And I've seen like some of the interviews. It was really important to him to do Shadow justice, especially for you guys. Like he really, and any interview or whatever that I saw, he was like, I hope they like it. Like he was really genuinely wanting to do Shadow justice, for sure.
Yeah, I've heard he's a genuinely great person, and so I would so be excited to meet him. I just put it out there in the universe that I'd meet him this year at some point. So I'm going to throw that out there. Colleen,
he's amazing.
Hook me up.
I do not have his number. I have Ben's number. I can text him right now.
Please tell us your name and your question.
My name is Miguel.
Hi, Miguel.
I have a question for you. How did you get the role for Tails in the movie?
That is such a good question, and I really don't know. I'm sure there was lots and lots of discussion that I was not privy to. They may have done auditions. I really don't know. I just was very happy to get the phone call and I got to do it. But I truly don't know. A lot of the times we don't know. We don't know what happens behind the scenes or who makes the decision or any of that stuff. So, yay.
All right, I saw a hand up there. Please come up. Hello, my friend. Please tell us your name and what's your question? What is the next Sonic movie going to be about?
That is a really good question, Nathan. We only know little bits and pieces. Obviously, at the end of the third movie, they had kind of a little preview where it seems pretty certain we're going to meet Amy Rose. I've also heard some names thrown around about who's going to voice Amy Rose. Scarlett Johansson. I don't know. But also, we're going to meet Metal Sonic in the fourth movie, allegedly. So the thing is that usually in Hollywood, you always have to beat the movie that came before it. And the third movie was such a hit, financially and within the community, that they're gonna have to do some amazing stuff in the fourth movie to make it win, to have it be better than the third. That's always the goal, is to get better and better. So, do you guys know any other little tidbits about what we might see in the fourth movie? It's all speculation and rumors at this point. But we're pretty sure we're gonna see Amy Rose in Metal. That's all we know.
Who's got a question? Sonic right there.
Thanks, Nathan. I almost wore this outfit.
Hi, what's your name? Tell us your question.
What's your favorite clothing character on set, and can you say that quote in your voice?
Time for a knuckle sandwich.
I'm the coolest.
But Copter, only Sonic the Hedgehog can come up with something like that.
I have never failed any mission.
What you see is what you get. just a guy who loves adventure. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog.
All right.
And I love your outfit.
Hello, my friend. What's your question?
My name is Glenn, and I have a friend who is wanting to voice act. Do you guys have any sort of advice to give to anyone wanting to get into like voice acting job? I guess career.
I'll start off real quick. Tell your friends to take acting classes. As we know, games have progressed. They're not just emotives like they were back in the day. It's not just take damage and go, yeah, I got the thing. You know, they're more like miniature movies. There's plots, there's cut scenes, there's all kinds of things that go into making games now. It used to be a game is more like 10,000 voice files, 15,000 voice files. Now even common video games have over 100,000 voice files. There's a lot more to do in video games. And the casting directors that I know are always looking for actors. It's even more important than people who can do different voices. That's important too. But they're really looking for people who can take a script that person did not write and make it sound actually real, like it's really happening. Because that's why you as the audience get invested in the character, get invested in the story, and therefore like the game. So tell your friend, take all the acting classes you can.
Acting classes and theater. Lots of theater. And also, we have an amazing colleague who I think is here today. His name is D. Bradley Baker. And he created a website. And that website is www.iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. www.iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. And it's free. And it's full of FAQs. It's just amazing. So tell her to go to that website because it just answers question after question after question about being a voice actor.
Acting classes. Acting classes, theater, improv. Do it. Read out loud. Record yourself reading. Make up stories. Create characters. Don't think in terms of just doing a funny voice. You have to think in terms of creating a fully fledged character.
Yeah, just put yourself out there. Do a lot of fan projects, a lot of online fan type projects, school projects, things like that they need voice actors for, need actors for. The more you do, the more you put yourself out there, the better chance you have.
And we're all saying the same things: acting, improv, theater, absolutely. For me, I am dyslexic, so the hardest thing about doing the games was the secrecy of the scripts. I had to be a page ahead of everybody, unscrambling everything as I went. And so for me, reading copy out loud helps me unscramble. And the last thing, when you get in the booth and you get in your head, to physicalize, because that just automatically makes you act. It just helps you, but all of those things. Improv helps so much, acting helps so much, theater just gets you out of your head and into telling stories. Of course.
Scott, I'm dyslexic too. Is that cool that we can be successful in our business? We both have, I guess it's considered a disability, but we're both dyslexic and we both followed our dream and made our dreams come true.
That's amazing because the job is reading, and so that's.
Karen, did you hide it too? Did you used to hide it?
Do I what?
Did you? So when I did it, I worked with Lonnie. Lonnie directed me for 10 years, and then finally she gave me something where all the dialogue was in German, and I said, I need a minute, and she said, are you okay? And I said, I'm dyslexic, and she said, I never knew you were dyslexic, because as people that we didn't, that could cost us a job, right? So we have to know it even better. We have to be even better. I love that. I love that.
I know, me too.
We did it.
Well, thank you so much for that, folks. And moving on to the next question right here. Hi, tell us your name and your question.
My name is Aaron. Kind of the opposite of the vocal side. Y'all just a good story. Is that interesting? That's always where the love starts. I'd love to get the sound.
ADR specifically, like dubbing? Is that what you're asking? Yeah?
Dubbing, direction, and software
Yeah. Okay, for the one that comes to mind is that for Sonic Adventure 2, as Scott mentioned earlier, we had a group of producers from Japan who had flown into Southern California from Japan to listen and be there for our recording sessions. And every now and then, they would want little homages to the Japanese version in the American games, but sometimes things would slip in. And the one thing that I remember was that, I think you mentioned this actually, when I had to climb a ladder as Sonic, and my thought was, okay, he's climbing the ladder, so it's effort, so he's going, and they said, no, higher, and I was like, are they really want me to do that? That's crazy. And luckily we had our director in the room who was like, no, we don't do that here in America. We don't say higher when we climb a ladder. So just let him do what he was going to do and it'll be fine. So sometimes culturally, that made for a good memory, that I almost went higher climbing a ladder.
I'll hop in. Well, in the same land, they always wanted us to really physicalize. So sometimes they would, we would all voice match, right? They'd want me climbing, and would want me to go, and I would listen, and I would say it 15 times exactly the same way. And then I would go, what is different? And I'd be like, oh, they're going, and as soon as I did that, they would all collectively go, yes, like, so you got that. But for me, the coolest thing specifically about this art, because our director was Lonnie, she is the only actor that I was ever in the booth with, because so she hadn't recorded her Rouge lines, she would just say, let me hop in the booth with you and I'll do the scene. And I think that's why people always say, is there something with Knuckles and Rouge? Because they're actually feeling the real chemistry of two actors acting off of each other in the moment.
That was the absolute beauty of Sonic Boom, because we all were in the room together. Like, it was, it's magical. It is the best, it's just the best scenario for doing voice. We do it by ourselves all the time. When you're doing ADR, most of the time you're by yourself. When you do video games, you're by yourself. They're doing one character at a time. But when you get to be in that room with all your other fellow actors, and everyone is so stupidly talented and hilarious, it's just magical. I honestly, we were laughing so much during all of it. It's amazing we ever got anything recorded. But it really truly is, having that feedback bouncing off of each other it just makes it that much better.
Yeah, I would love to come back and do it again so I could be with everybody in the same room. I didn't like being by myself in this, and in fact, I was so stressed out, and I'm such a perfectionist that we finally figured out that before I would come into the studio, I'd have to have a little shot of whiskey to just calm myself just a little bit, because I can never seem to get the all the jumping and lifting and all the things.
I think the thing that I love the most about working with good directors is this feeling of trust. So some of us have worked with Jack. I'm getting Jack's last name suddenly. Jack Fletcher, who's directed a lot of the Sonic. And he just trusts me so much. I walk in the studio and I feel, and there's always, like, right now all the clients show up on Zoom. So, and there's from Japan, from the States, there's like 8 people in the Hollywood Squares on Zoom, sometimes more, sometimes a few less. And Jack, who is the director, is kind of taking everybody's comments, and he's kind of emceeing the whole recording. And I just feel his trust in what I do, and his trust in what I do permeates out to the clients. And so they come back with such enthusiasm, and I really feel like we're collaborating together. So it's not just like they're saying, do it this way, but we're kind of molding it together and playing together. And there's such a feeling of trust and play, and we're kind of building on each other's, oh, try this, Karen. Oh, yeah, oh, this, yeah. and it's so delightful. And in the past 10 years, I've been directing as well. I direct cartoons and dubbing, and I really, when I work with actors, my goal is just to step out of the way and let them shine and kind of nudge them really to create a space where they know how great they are, you know? Because actors are really sensitive beings, and if we start feeling people criticizing us, we're all like this. We start feeling people like judging us, we kind of start closing down, and our like spontaneous creativity isn't as wild and available. So Jack and that team, they create a space where I can really just play. And I'm just sharing this because I think for me, it's a good lesson in my life. How can I be this way for my family and my friends? And how can I create a space for them to really be themselves and feel that I trust them, you know?
Any next questions? About here, right here in the front, sir. Hi, tell us your name and your question.
Hi, my name is Joe, and I just want to know that you guys are playing a Sonic game before your voice acting, or playing a Sonic game to prepare for your voice acting, which Sonic game is your voice acting?
I am terrible at video games, and I really tried, but I haven't played any Sonic games before I did the voice acting, and so I wanted to see where my voice was, what I was doing, because I didn't get to see any of that when we recorded, but I couldn't get through the game, so I couldn't see it. So I have two older boys, and they're gamers, so they play the game. They finished the game, Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Heroes, so I could actually see what I did, what my work actually was, and it was brilliant. So yeah, how'd it go?
I never played them before, and I started not to prepare or anything, but I did play them actually kind of to prepare for any press stuff before the second movie came out, because I would see the list of news outlets or whatever that I was going to have interviews with, and most of them were gaming ones, and I was like, well, they're going to ask me all these game questions, and I haven't played the games this season. So I had a friend of mine come over. They had given me a Sega console a long time ago, so I had my friend come over and set it up, and it had like all the Sega games on this one cartridge. So we started with Sonic 2, because that's where Tails comes in. I'm so bad at video games, like terrible. Like my speed is Frogger, and you know, like that's my jam. But I'm so bad at them. But I tried really hard. You know, he can fly, right? How do the pokey things get him if he can fly? Like, it's not fair, and I was so bad. My friend played with Sonic, I was Tails, and I lost big time. So. But I tried.
I never used the games to prepare for it, but Sega was actually really good at giving me copies of things that I worked on. So I always enjoyed kind of playing them after the fact. I was playing them at the same time that you all were playing them. So Sonic Adventure 2 was probably my favorite game to play that I worked on, because I'm yours too. Yeah, because I mean, I hear that a lot, because who doesn't like Chow Gardens and, you know, grinding on rails with soap shoes on? It's just fun. So yeah, that's my favorite.
All right, any more questions from the audience? You right there, sir. Hi, tell us your name and your question.
My name is Roger, and question for Scott. Do you remember what your shadow voice sounded like? And then can we get the actual shadow to react to your shadow voice?
That's a really fun question, by the way.
I mean, it's obviously it's been a couple of years, but I remember you were, it was more like you're the baker, like it was more here than
Yeah, because like lower Sonic, like you're the big hedgehog around here.
Yeah, and all I was like, you're the baker. I mean, so I was able to do that, and then this one brought in something different, like totally different. But yeah,
Baker, I think you're the big hedgehog around here.
I'll make you eat those words. Yum yum.
Yeah, so definitely more of that, for sure.
All right, you, sir, in the very end. You in the blue. tell us your name and your question.
Hi, my name is David. Very silly question. What's your favorite cheese?
Blue cheese. Gorgonzola.
I haven't met a cheese I didn't like. I could put cheese on my cheese, but I love a great Drier. It's amazing. Yeah.
Goat. Goat cheese, yeah. Goat cheese.
My grandmother always had Munster cheese in slices in her refrigerator, and so I just remember as a kid going into her fridge and getting slices of Munster cheese and eating them. So Munster's my favorite.
All right, any more questions from the audience? You, sir, at the end. Hi, tell us your name and your question.
Would you study any of Jaleel White's performances in Sonic? Or did you kind of come up with your own?
No, in fact, I didn't hear that Jaleel White had anything to do with the Sonic franchise until years after I was doing it. Like maybe even after this second or third game I'd worked on. It was a different time back then. We didn't have all the information at our fingertips before smartphones and so forth. So no, I didn't know there was a cartoon. No one ever mentioned it, and I had never seen it, and I didn't know Jaleel was part of it until much, much later.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, I'll get you.
It's Shay,
Hi,
everybody.
tell us your name and your question.
Well, as one of you so gentlemanly already said, yes, I'm Shay. So I have a question for you guys. How familiar with Dungeons and Dragons are you up on our Wayfair campus?
I mean, there's dice and stuff.
For sure. So,
I used to play all the time when I was younger.
perfect. And you're probably going to already have the answer to this question, but for anyone who understands the alignment system, what would you say the character you play is?
Lawful good.
You don't think he's chaotic good?
No, I think he's got less of it. Yeah. Yeah. I think he's lawful good, but I can see where you would say chaotic good. Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess everything goes in like a chaotic, neutral, evil, and then like there's that kind of a system, but you can kind of like mix them. If you were to kind of guess what you think your character is going to be.
Give us the choices, because I don't know what.
I want to know who you think we would.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get better.
You guys are going to get me attacked by the audience.
Okay.
Fair. Well, okay, so if we're going to agree that Sonic is lawful good, Tails is definitely lawful good. 100%. Tails is fake. He's lawful fake. I feel like Rouge is like low-key true neutral. It's like she'll do good, but she's like also in it for like money. And like that's so real, that thing. Like that's so real.
That's a bit of evil there.
You think it's a little? You think so? Okay. So true. I guess maybe like let's say chaotic still. That would be right. Probably chaotic neutral. Chaotic neutral. I guess Knuckles is also. You can't technically do that. Fair. He's definitely. I guess it would be like lawful. I'm sorry to say this, but lawful dumb.
Okay, I thought you guys were saying waffle. Like waffle.
We are from now on.
I seriously thought you were saying waffle. Like,
Oh no.
like, so like they're
Somebody
not
make a
well
t-shirt.
done. I don't understand the waffle. Do they have syrup? Like, now I want waffles.
I wish I
I'm
had
sorry.
the
You're
big
saying
square.
lawful.
Lawful. I wish I had the square alignment with Mario to make it better.
Sonic is lawful good.
It feels weird to call Shadow evil. I mean, I guess he did try to kill the president once, but was he really evil? What would you say? What would Sonic say?
That Shadow is
Yeah.
neutral evil. Maybe. Yeah. They didn't think so. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Do you feel like we agree as a panel? I didn't think we didn't have to explain it.
We all agree that we love waffles.
So, do you like waffles?
Hey, we all love waffles. Any more questions from the audience? You right there at the very end with the chips. All right, this is our final question. Make it good. Please tell us your name.
My name is Mike. You often have a rap battle who would spit the most bars.
If we were having a rap battle, who would spit the most bars? Is that what you're saying?
I think Sonic would have the speed. I think he would rattle off some kind of rap god Eminem kind of deal. All about chili dogs probably. But I think probably Tails would win because Tails is so inventive. He would come up with some really creative bars that would just slay everything.
He'd do a multi-tail situation.
He totally would.
Everybody would be doing it at the same time.
Especially if waffles were involved. There it is.
And there we go, attendees. Give it a round of applause for this wonderful cast of Sonic.
Can I just say one last thing, guys? Truly, I think we all agree with this. We are so grateful that we get to meet all of you. We are so humbled that we get to be a part of this glorious, beautiful, special universe. But it doesn't exist without all of you and your love. And we love you so much. We soak it up. We can't wait to meet you. That is why we go out. I'm a big hugger. I'm going to speak for myself. We're so excited to get the opportunity to meet you guys. It is not wasted on us to be a part of your lives and your childhoods in a positive way. It is more beautiful than we can put into words. And we receive that love, and we love you guys so much. The Sonic fans are the best.
You guys make Sonic. You guys make Sonic what it is.
Don't be offended, I'm neutral evil, so I might not give you a hug.
Thanks everybody. Thanks for coming out. We appreciate it.
Love y'all attending. Catch you next time.